Neo stock today has seen drops, really significant drops actually. Neo stock is nearly down by 9% at the time of filming. We have seen this one absolutely gap down today, coming in from a price yesterday of $4.94, where everything looked fairly promising, all the way down to where we are now, where we've hit prices as low as $4.47. I guess the question that a lot of people have in their mind is, what is going on? And ultimately, what happens next? Could this be a good time to buy? What should we be doing? Well, of course, this is not financial advice. I am not a financial advisor. I'm just going to be giving you my personal thoughts and opinions on this situation. At the same time, if you like these videos, make sure to give them a like and subscribe. If you like them, if you subscribe, it tells me that you like videos on Neo so I can make more of them. Anyway, let's jump into the video. Again, first analysing what has actually happened. Well, on that one-day chart, you can see the trend. Obviously, since we opened up on a price, well, we gapped down, but we went from a price in the 490s, around 490 itself, coming all the way down at open to around 475. From there, we just dropped and dropped and dropped and dropped, finally finding our support at around 447, which is obviously significant. That's where we've closed today as well. Anyway, a very, very red day. We then went up slightly before actually going a little bit lower, down to 445 roughly. And then towards the end of the day, we've just seen that big red candle at the end, it seems, and again, price hitting 447 again. What's going on and what comes next? Well, of course, it's impossible to say with any degree of certainty, but what we can do is look at the facts. Because, a lot of people have been very bullish on Neo. I've got this little article here which essentially highlights some key features. And if you guys know the story, as I've just shared, Neo shares have gapped down significantly before the market opened, starting at 474 after closing at 491. In the last trading, we have seen this, go down to 449, 447. Analysts have mixed views on Neo, with one maintaining a buy rating, whilst others have issued a neutral and underweight ratings, along with various price target adjustments. The company reported negative earnings per share of 0.45, which obviously misses estimates. Now, whilst revenues of 1.66 billion, it was significantly down from analysts' expectation. And this all matters. So let's have a brief look at this. So analysts are setting a lot of new price targets on Neo. Several research firms have issued reports for Neo. Citigroup has also restated a buy rating of Neo shares on Monday. So on April 28th, this is referring to, the price target was lowered on Neo from $4 to $3.50, and a neutral rating was added to the company. On June the 3rd, Goldman Sachs upgraded Neo from a sell rating to a neutral rating, and their boss boosted the price target for the company from $370 to $380 in a report on Tuesday, June 17th. Barclays lowered their price target on Neo from $4 to $3 and maintained an underweight rating on the company. And in a report on June the 4th, finally, Morgan Stanley reiterated a buy rating on Neo. Again, on July the 14th, I should say, one research analyst had rated the stock with a sell rating, 9 have issued a hold rating, and 2 have issued a buy rating, and 1 has assigned a strong buy rating to the company. Based on data at Market Beat, Neo has previously had an average of a hold rating and an average price target of 474. So that's one of the biggest factors. Again, we are seeing Neo stock being down by 8.7%, actually more towards the end. The company has a current ratio of 0.84, a quick hold ratio of 0.69, and a debt to equity ratio of 1.89. The stock has a 50-day simple moving average of 401 and a 200-day moving average of 407. The company has a market cap of 9.36 billion and a price to earnings of minus 2.76 and a beta of 1.42. So these are some of the most important things. At the same time, we have seen Neo announce its quarterly earnings on Tuesday, June the 3rd. Bear in mind that's not recent, but the company has reported 0.45 earnings per share for the quarter, missing analysts' consensus estimates of 0.22. by 0.23. NEO had a negative return equity of 286.45% and a net margin of 35.51%. The business had a revenue of 1.66 billion for the quarter compared to the analyst estimate of 12.46 billion during the same quarter last year. The firm posted $239 earnings per share. The company's revenue was up 21.5% compared to the same quarter last year. As a group, analysts predict that NEO will post a minus 1.43 EPS for the current year. Some important factors there. At the same time, we have institutional inflows and outflows, where we see institutional investors recently adding or reducing to their shares in the business. We've seen Exponents, I believe it is, acquiring a new position in NEO in the first quarter worth $39,000. Blue Shift Asset Management LLC bought a new stake in the company in the first quarter worth $43,000. And we've seen others, listed here. So the question is, with all of that being said, what do we think happens now? And for this one, I think it's actually quite simple. First things first, we're looking to establish a genuine and decent level of support. So for this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom out to the bigger picture. Let's just have a look at what we can see on the 6-month chart here. Or perhaps when you zoom in, you'll see this is kind of a bottom that we are somewhat familiar with. This level around 446, 447, maybe 445. We've bounced off this here and here as well. This has worked as a level of support many a time in the past. And again, if you look at what happened when we bounced off it both here, here, and potentially here now as well, there was room for the upside. At the same time, if we are not able to hold on to this, we could be looking to go even lower, potentially as low, obviously past this, and potentially as low into the 430s, maybe even lower than that. But really what I want to see over the next couple of days is a somewhat decent consolidation on this one. I want this one to hold where it is and slowly start to move in the correct direction. However, I do understand why many people may see this as a perfect adding opportunity, right? A perfect buying opportunity. Of course, not advice, not necessarily what I'm going to do. But I can see the argument here that if you believe that this is going to hold, as it has done many a time in the past around this level, this could be a potentially good adding opportunity. So that's going to be the main thing here. Never mind, in my personal opinion at least, never mind looking for any key levels of resistance, right? It's just about seeing if this support is able to hold on a technical level. Obviously past that, then we're going to be looking to get past and back to the levels that we were at just yesterday. But that, for the moment, perhaps, is quite some way away. The key level that I'm looking for here, or the key thing that I'm looking for here, is to see if this holds up as a level of support, if we can actually hold on to this. And so far in the post market, it does look like we are able to. However, there's a lot to be said for when the market opens. As always, guys, if you enjoy, I will be giving you another update on this very soon. But yeah, I just want to see this one hold as a support more than anything. I want to see some steady consolidation, perhaps a slow climb back up, but really that's the main thing for me at the moment. Let me know what you think in the comments. Thank you for your time. If you enjoyed, make sure to give us a like and subscribe, and I hope I'll see you again.